Assalamu alaikum everybody. So finally caught up to date. Last post with me catching up. Uh, I went on this biking trip on the 12th and 13th of March. It was so awesome. It was really cool. It was Friday and Saturday. I went with two Egyptians and like a group of people from the program who are also learning Arabic here. I have to say one thing first before I begin. That is that I feel amazing. I think it's the weather or something like that because I've been classically conditioned to associate this weather with the end of finals. You know, in May when you finish your last final? Well, I've been feeling like that every single day. So I feel very relaxed and I feel very good. It's excellent, you know, that I feel so at peace and relaxed and just feel really good. But it's not good because there's still 2.5 months of classes left. So I have to, I have to be worried, to be pressured, so I can work harder or something like that. But it's great that I feel so good, alhamdulillah. So we went to a place, weird name, Minyit Ganaak. It's in Kafr al-Shayk, which is a muhafadha or a province, I believe, which is close to al-Dasuuq. Al-Dasuuq. It was interesting in so many different ways. It wasn't a 2-day biking trip in what you might think of. We didn't bike for 2 days straight. We left from Alex, took a few microbuses, and we must have arrived there within 2 hours of. I mean, we had to catch two microbuses from here, from Miami, to get to al-Mawqif al-Jadid, which is this place that just this big garage with all these microbuses that can take you anywhere from, the Libyan border in the west to the pyramids in the east in Giza. So I mean, they'll just take you anywhere. We caught a microbus from there, and because we had so many people, we just rented it, and we told him to take us straight there to this guy's house, who's, I think he's the president or the founder of this. I don't know his position, but he has an important position in this organization called Cycle Egypt. An interesting thing about him is that he refused to speak Arabic with us so many times. I mean, we're not here to. I'm speaking English now, but I try very hard not to use the language while I'm here. Sometimes it's hard when everybody's speaking English around me, and I hate that because I won't be able to get this practice when I return to the U.S., where I can speak Arabic with everybody and they'll understand me, and you can talk about so many different things in the language. It's a beautiful, beautiful language. So I try not to use the language, and this guy kept using it. Now, if it's an Egyptian, and I'll do this with some Egyptians, if they've been speaking to me a lot in Arabic and I know them, and then they like say a few things in English, I'll speak to them in English, and I don't have a problem giving them that practice because it's kind of like a give and take, and you got to be fair. And it's so hard for an Egyptian to go to the U.S. or go to Britain or go to Australia and live there and learn English. So yeah, I'll give them back. But this guy was insistent, so I was like, man, that's rude. The fellahin, the farmers over there, had a new accent, a new dialect that I was exposed to. So again, it's showing that this Egyptian accent is more nuanced. From the Sa'idi to Aswan and the Nubian languages is totally different. There's difference between Alexandria and Cairo, and Siwa affect their own language as well. And these fellahin have this this dialect as well, and it's really, really beautiful. It's closer to my own dialect. So I was trying to speak to them a little bit, and I mean, I'm sure it was broken and not correct, but I did like it. Now the interesting thing is, I thought of London, and I thought about the different dialects and how each, or accents you could say, how each accent means a certain social status. Well, here it means that as well. There's this one guy who was the cousin of the guy who led us on the trip, and he was speaking in a very, it was a city accent. It was an Alexandria, Cairo accent. But when he would speak to the other people, and I was like, hey, how come you don't speak like them, but you live in the same place? He's like, I'm not like them. I'm going to move to Alexandria in the next year, inshallah. I'm going to be getting a job. These people, they're just farmers. And yeah, while he was saying that, his dad was in the background farming as well. But it was like a status thing. Like, I don't want to speak like that language of those, lowly people. So language is very important. This cycle group, really interesting. They every single Friday morning they go. If you're ever in town, they go from Muntaza way in the east all the way to the Al'a, which is the citadel in the west. And they do this every single Friday morning. They say it takes an hour or so. Uh, Alhamdulillah. Sometimes they go from Alexander to Al-Rashid, which is where I went that one time, which is the closest area on the west part of the Nile. What it would be the opposite for you. Uh, and one guy told me he went Alex to Cairo, and he does that sometimes. It took him 18 hours, but he said he was being very lazy. He'd cycle for an hour, then rest for like 15 minutes. But still, that's crazy. Alexandria to Cairo on a bike. And he said some people go all the way down to Aswan, which we took an overnight train to get to on a bike. So it's cool. It's crazy. It's a new organization. Does that mean more cyclists? I mean, we were in this village that maybe has never seen people cycling before, never has seen Americans before, and all they were, everyone would see us and they'd be like, hello, hello, or ho, ho, ho. They were just trying to speak some English, or what little they knew, which is very interesting, because English is, even in these remote villages, people know a few words of English, and people would say, what is this, or what is that, the few words that they know, even though it's totally out of context, just to show that they know some English, which I thought was very interesting. It's the effect of globalization. Here we are, Americans, we're cycling, we all have our blue bikes and helmets. First time I think I wear a helmet while biking, even though I've been biking my whole life. In this place where, I don't even know if they have running water or clean water, television, so many things. So again, it made me think, I'm here complaining about cold water and stuff, and these people in this village, I mean, do they even have warm water? And in the place we were staying, they don't, and they live like that year round. So it was really cool. I loved it. We biked for maybe like 2 hours the first day and 2 hours the second day. Just beautiful, beautiful. I mean, the country here is so beautiful. It's green, it's calm. We were right on the Nile, and I really liked home cooked country food, I think you could call it here. And I've eaten it before. Remember when I talked about my trip to Mahdiya and I went there, and you see the animals and stuff like that, and even the smell and the dirt, even though it is dirty and stuff like that, but it's a different kind of dirty. It's not your industrial revolution, pollution. It's animal waste and stuff like that, which, even though it's nasty and disgusting, it still can fertilize the ground, and it still has benefit. It still can go back into the earth. So I thought it was really cool. I don't know. I'd maybe be interested in going again to some place with the cyclists. I only have 2 months left here, and still planning that big trip to the Oases, which is coming up in just 2 weeks. We have a meeting tomorrow. I've been reading a lot. I've been researching a lot. I've been getting in touch with a what's he called? A tour guide guy who lives in Bahira, Muhafadat al-Bahriya. He lives right next to the oasis, the Waha there, and apparently he's been learning from his father and his grandfather. He knows the desert like the back of his hand. And again, we want to do that. Oh, sorry, the other direction for you. We want to do that. I can't do that. Well, basically, it looks like a hilal, and I'll just do that the other way. Boom, like that. If you look at the map of Egypt, go look at the oases. There's Siwa, which is up in the northwest. I've already been there. There's the Fayoum. I talked about that in Tunis, in that area. I went there. Now we only have like five I think left. So just gonna zoom through all of them, and I can't do the signs. I can't do this backward thing. So we're just gonna go through all of them. It's gonna be beautiful. I want to ride a camel for at least an hour and just get the feeling. I've been reading a lot of old Arabic poetry about it. I may go hunting. I heard it was really cool from this professor who visited us today from Maryland, and he's an Egyptian guy. And he's like, it's just the most beautiful thing. Just go out 2 days in the desert and go gazelle hunting. And I was like, that's awesome. I just want to go and see stuff and make use of my time. And then I have another break at the end of April, so I'll be hitting up hopefully the pyramids and the Mount Moses, or the Mountain of Moses in Sinai. We'll see. By the way, another protest today, Muslim Brotherhood, and so protests continue. As I said, it was huge, and it was for for Palestine and against Israel. So things are getting heated. More protests, just like I told you I heard. So we'll see what happens. Assalamu alaikum.